Welcome to the Down There Where podcast. I'm Amy Milne. This is the show where we get loud about women's below-the-belt health from menstruation to menopause and everything in between. So many women continue to silently endure issues like endometriosis, PCOS, menstrual disorders, and menopause-related challenges without the proper support. We're done with the whispers. We're here to break the taboos, share the stories, and have the conversations no matter how uncomfortable. Whether you're dealing with your own health journey, supporting someone who is, or just ready to join the movement, you're in the right place. Let's get loud. Okay. I am so excited to welcome Seanna to the show today. Seanna, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Amy. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm really excited to have you here. For our listeners, Seanna is a very good friend of mine. We started as online besties
Yeah.
through COVID. We met through, um, it's kind of like even random that well, maybe it's not random because we don't believe in random, but
Mm.
we literally found ourselves in a mastermind in the thick of COVID.
Yeah. I'm glad you
And
said that and that it wasn't just like we found each other online in COVID. I don't know. That just sounds a little
because,
weird.
that's a little different of a
Yeah.
relationship. Yeah, fair.
Yeah, that was one of the best things I think
Yeah.
that ever happened to me to have that mastermind and be able to talk about business with other people, other like-minded people, but also people that are in completely different industries and walks of life, and to be able to stay connected to you
Yeah.
after we left the mastermind is very special to me. So, yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty cool. I think of just even the amount of life we all went through together. I mean, you and I have suffered severe loss in our families and watching our, 6 year, our kids have changed. And, now
Hmm.
we've worked together over these years and just created opportunities for each other. And it's been pretty phenomenal.
It
So I'm so
has. It
excited. I'm
has.
so excited to have you here. I'm so excited
Ye-
for people to learn from you. So, why don't you, since I know all about you,
Mm.
why don't you share with the audience who you are?
Sure. So I'm a food and nutrition consultant, which is sort of a fancy name for nutritionist. I have been doing this for, oh my God, a really long time now. Really long time. And it all started, way back before I had kids. And
Mm-hmm.
now all my kids are teenagers. And my husband was in the military, so we ended up moving to a very small town, and I knew that I did not want I knew if he was gonna be posted, I didn't wanna start at the bottom everywhere, work my way up, get posted, start at the bottom somewhere, work my way up, and so I wanted to work for myself, and that was why I chose to do, a distance education to become a holistic nutritionist.
Mm-hmm.
And I started when I was pregnant with my first son. I finished when I was pregnant with my second son. And then my daughter came along. And so I started writing a nutrition and recipe blog, sort of about the life in a small town. And I was at home raising my kids, and then I was
Yeah.
developing recipes, and it was really fun and took off a little bit. I started writing articles, and then when we got posted back to Toronto, that's when a lot more happened for me. And now I'm the host of Meal Prep Mondays on CP24 Breakfast.
I
And
are.
yeah, I am. And
Yeah, I
I
are.
also appear regularly on CTV's Your Morning. I've
Mm-hmm.
had wonderful opportunities to be on The Good Stuff with Mary Berg, E-Talk, The Social. So it's been a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun with it. I look forward to my meal prep Mondays, even though it's early mornings and it's a lot of work, but I absolutely love it. And I love sharing recipes online. I love helping families with chaotic lifestyles like mine.
Mm-hmm.
I love helping them fuel their kids and, you know, figure out what's for dinner, which is like, the endless task of parents everywhere that we didn't know we signed up for. So,
Right?
yeah. So it's fun. I really love it. I love food. I love talking about food. I love making food. I love developing recipes. Everything about it is just really fun for me. So I feel very privileged to be in this job.
Well, and you've done, like, just as a woman in business, you've done a lot. Like, you've put yourself out there. You've, grown and changed and evolved and
Hmm.
done all the things with, I would say health and being at the core of it all, right? Like, that's you
Yeah.
with all the work you're doing on TV and out there and, in the social realm of the world. I mean, your background is in theater, so it's, that's what makes you so enjoyable and engaging to, like, I keep getting stuck to my sequence. Um, that's what makes it so that's I literally, like, listen to you all the time. I mean, I don't make the meals in my home. I'm pretty lucky that I married a chef. So, when
Very
I can
lucky.
cook and I'm good at it, I need recipes, which is why I, screenshot and save half this stuff that you put online. Um,
Yeah. Thank
but
you.
I don't have to think about that, but from a snack perspective, because when I met you, you were doing hockey snacks, like, you were,
Yes.
a big part of where you started was to fuel your family to keep your family healthy. Because you spent a lot of time in rinks and swimming pools and courts and fields.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I still do.
Yeah, right.
So when Hockey Snacks began, I mean, that was really in the heart of when we met, right? Because
Yeah.
that was why I joined that business mastermind. That was
Mhm.
pre-pandemic, and it sort of was a business that just accidentally snowballed into something, and as like great businesses tend to do, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was, an early morning hockey practice for my son, 7 a.m., and
Mhm.
parents were doing the snack rotation thing where a different parent would bring a snack every week. And I was always the buzzkill mom bringing, the oranges and the homemade muffins and stuff. And this particular practice, we all walked into the dressing room at 8 a.m. and our kids were 7 years old
Wow.
and they were all eating Doritos.
Mm.
And I thought to myself, okay, I'm not judging because we're all busy. We're all looking for nut-free stuff. We all shop at
Right.
Costco. You
Right.
just wanna, like you're like, "Oh, crap, I have to bring the snack. What can I bring that's nut-free? What will
Yeah.
the kids actually eat? Here we go, big box of Doritos," right?
Yeah.
Um, but it was at that moment that I thought, "We can do better," and I'm
Yeah.
happy to spearhead it. So I said to my team, "If everyone's on board, I'll just bring the snacks for the rest of the season if everyone just chips in, I'll take care of it, and there will be a fruit component, there'll be a snack component, and it'll be nut free and yada, yada, yada." So everyone was on board because
Right.
no one wanted to do it, um,
Right. That is
and
like that is like gold, like, the amount of women listening right now who are like, "Shit, why did I not have a Shauna on our team?"
I know. And then, well, the great part about it was other teams started to hear that I was doing this and they were like, "Can
Right.
you do our
Mhm.
team too?" And so I was like,
Yeah.
"Sure." And then eventually I was bringing snacks for the entire league and, I
Love it.
was wheeling in bins of snacks. I was buying wholesale. Like it was amazing. It was really amazing. I
Yeah,
created great relationships with some awesome Canadian snack brands.
for
Um,
sure.
so that was very cool. And then I started doing workshops, and then I started doing tournaments, and then, it just, like, really snowballed, which was very cool. And I had this big board above my desk, and I would use sticky notes for all of my, like, events coming up, and
Yeah,
then the pandemic hit, and then
right,
I was just watching as I take every single sticky note off the board,
right,
and because everything I did was in person, everything I did
right,
was with youth sports. There were no more youth
right.
sports, there was no more in person, so my business went
Uh-huh.
I pivoted for a bit and I did something called Snacktivities where I delivered
Mhm.
bags to, people around the city that were full of snacks and games,
Yeah.
to people that, were in, like, community housing and things that,
Mhm.
they just were uncomfortable leaving their homes, and so we would deliver that, and my kids and I did it. We drove around the city and that was
Cool.
great, but really it was very hard, coming out of the pandemic. People just wanted their kids to play sports and were so happy that they were back on the rink, back in the pool, whatever. They didn't want the extras. They just were happy. Like we all just realized, oh my God, what a gift to have our
Right.
kids play sports, and so it was a really hard climb back up, and eventually I had to just let that business go. But as you and I know, everything happens for you,
Yeah.
and, I just started doing other things and still, working hard at whatever I felt was, important at the time.
Needed.
And then this opportunity became available with CP24, and I took that. And then, I've been working ever since. And so it's been great. And I'm still known as the hockey snacks lady. But
Yeah.
also none of my kids play hockey anymore either. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess that kind of
Yep.
makes sense. No more hockey snacks for me.
Yep.
But yeah,
Totally.
that was really fun and a learning, journey, I would say, of
Mhm.
starting your own business and quickly, like, it grew so fast. I had
Yeah.
to learn things very, very quickly and realized very quickly that you can't do it all by yourself.
Right. Totally. And
Mhm.
I think and I and what comes up for me when I think of, um, fueling our kids and then being the mom is how many times, so many women speak of the fact of, like, you're at you eat the scraps off their plate, so you're eating the crusts of the grilled cheese, or you're, like,
Mhm.
literally picking up the leftover fish because you're so busy, and so you're not only are you trying to fuel your kids with healthy snacks, then we find ourselves as moms, for those of us who are lucky enough to be moms, we then find ourselves in a situation where we're like, we just ate a whole bunch of shit, and we actually just fed our kids a whole bunch of shit, and now nobody feels good. And so,
Yeah.
I love what you did to model that, for the kids, but then also for the parents. And I think a big part of what you've taught me and why I've always been, I mean, you're a good friend, so I'm attracted to you for that. But, like, the fact that, like, health is at the core of who you are and for your whole family, which means you then benefit. So if we do what you tell us to do, Shauna, then we get to be healthy too, which isn't
Yeah.
always the case when you're running a busy family.
Absolutely, and I should say too, though, that as much as, yes, healthy is 100% at the core of what I do, it doesn't mean that I ever, restrict anything, and I don't
Yep.
remove any foods from my diet, nor do I recommend that anybody else do it unless, of course, you're allergic or have an intolerance,
Right.
but I think it's really important to know that healthy can look different for everybody.
Mhm.
A lot of people believe that healthy means you don't eat any processed foods or nothing comes out of a box or things like that. But the reality of being a mom of multiple kids that are busy is
Uh-huh.
that sometimes you have to lean on things that are a little bit processed, drive-throughs, quick
Mhm.
snacks. And so that very much is a part of what I preach and do, and I'm
Right.
very honest about,
Yeah.
what we eat and stuff because, when my kids were small and my kids were all born within like 2.5 years of each other.
Yeah.
So I have 3 kids.
A lot of small humans
Yeah. And,
at one time.
yeah. And I was very fortunate to be like, oh, I'm going to make everything from scratch and I'm at home. And so and I could do all of these things and great for me. But, I, for the longest time was like, no way am I buying Kraft peanut butter. That's not coming into my house. That has oil and sugar in it and whatever. And it was only natural peanut butter. And now I have a much more realistic approach
Yeah.
because if you have a house with no snacks, I mean, my kids were eating like handfuls of chocolate chips. They call it an
Right.
ingredient house, right? Because we don't have like
Right.
bags of snacks around because I usually make something. Like we have like
Right.
muffins always, or we'll have like stuff like that. But I find if you have snacks around a little bit more often and you're more realistic in your approach to things, like we have now Kraft peanut butter, and other things that before I was like, absolutely not. It just becomes a normal thing and people aren't like
Right.
scooping, spoonfuls of it. Um, and I think it's a more realistic approach. So it did take me, like anybody that first graduates, you're
Yeah.
so gung ho about like,
Right.
oh, I'm gonna be, like you're just so much, you're intense.
Yeah.
right? Because it's
Right.
intense.
Yeah. You're like,
Um,
"I'm all-knowing. I've got this."
and then
Yeah.
over time, I worked with so many families and parents and kids, and realized it really is just about getting back to the basics. It
Right.
really, really is. So, yeah, I have boxed foods and crackers and things, and I have Kraft peanut butter in my house, but I also always have fruits and vegetables,
Right.
and sometimes they're frozen, which is okay too,
Mhm.
and, or canned or whatever, but we eat a variety of foods,
Mhm.
and you do what you can. Food accessibility is real, and you have to
Mhm.
do what makes sense for your family. And sometimes, for some people, that's mac and cheese. And then
Yeah.
on another day, it might be fish and broccoli. Like
Right.
it really is about figuring out what works for your family and doing what's healthy for you.
For sure. And I've learned a lot of that from you. And also, you bring up back to the basics. And I feel like, if we sort of we look at what our families eat, and that's where you've been focused, and now all of a sudden is back to the basics for us as women. Is it just protein, creatine, collagen, and don't forget the electrolyte. And so, like, literally, I feel like my lineup in the morning is all the powders and all the cups and all the
Yeah.
things. So is back to the basics. I just need to eat a chicken leg, and that's what my family is going to eat. Because
Yeah.
how, in your opinion,
Mm.
coming back to the basics, and obviously food and nutrition is at the core of who you are and what you do. So you're in the midst of it all right now,
Yeah.
and you're in your perimenopausal phase in life.
Hmm.
And so how do you discern all of that? Like, how do you look at all this and go, here's what I believe to be true, and you don't have to live on chicken legs.
Yeah. I You don't have to live on chicken legs, Amy, you don't.
Right? Okay,
First of all,
perfect.
yeah,
Yay.
yeah. I do need to mention that I think it's kind of a cruel universe that has put me going through perimenopause and hormonal changes in a house with 3 very hormonal teenagers at the exact same time.
Yeah.
I'm not the hugest fan, and I'm sure they are not as well.
Yeah.
I cry and they, yell
Rage.
and oh, yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I would be lying if I said I didn't take some supplements. I definitely
Yeah.
do. But I keep it easy. I
Yeah.
don't think it needs to be
Mm,
morning and noon and night and all day and every day. I think
mm,
once again, you do what you feel is right for
yeah.
you.
Great.
But I do find there are some things that I think help me and that I think would help women in this phase of life.
Mhm.
Um, but when I say back to basics, I really do mean yes, we do need to eat protein, right? And you see it everywhere all over social
Yeah.
media. Eat more protein. You have to eat this protein and whatever. Um, a lot of people are saying 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight.
Mhm.
That's a lot to try
Yeah.
and get to every single day.
Yep. Mhm.
So I tell people to try and aim for 100 grams a day.
Mhm.
So when you're thinking you could easily, and I say easily from my perspective,
Right.
hit 30 grams per meal,
Okay.
and then that's already 90,
Right.
right? And then that's if you're eating 3 meals a day. And then there's room. And then if you think protein first for your snacks, or you
Right.
have like if you are a very active person and you like protein shakes or a protein bar or whatever, you can have those as a supplement to get your protein up a little bit. Um, and then the biggest thing right now that I think is sort of coming into the forefront is
Mm.
fiber and hydration.
Yep.
And it doesn't have to be, scoops of chia seeds and flax in your, breakfast and
Yep.
stuff. It can be as easy as just try and add color. Color
Mm.
always equals fiber.
Okay,
So
cool.
having a bit of fruit and then add a little protein to it. So if you're having an apple, add a little peanut butter, add a little yogurt,
Mhm.
have a piece of cheese with it. And then you're getting some protein, you're getting your
Right.
fiber, you're doing all the things. And at night, like make sure there's a vegetable in your dinner. Throw some veggies in a sandwich or a pita for lunch. Um, have a little veggie tray. What I've been trying to do, I haven't been successful every day, but I'm trying now with my kids to, when they get home from school, have a vegetable tray out. I used to do this all the time when they were younger.
Right.
Um, so have a vegetable tray out. It can be carrots and celery. It can be cucumber.
Right.
It can be whatever you have in your fridge. Throw it out with some dip or hummus. And that way, even if they don't eat any vegetables at dinner, at least they've gotten something, right? Because everyone's
Right.
starving when they come through the door.
Totally.
And if it's out and it's cut up and it's in front of them, I mean, I'm the same. You put it on
Oh,
a
for
stick,
sure.
I'm probably gonna eat it.
Yeah.
If there's a dip,
Totally.
I'm
There's
probably
a
gonna
dip,
eat it.
I'm in.
Yeah,
Yeah, totally.
exactly. So try to like I don't ever say track your calories, track your protein. But if for like a week it helps you to know how much protein you're getting, because if you're only eating like 30 grams of protein a day, then yeah, you should probably eat some more. But if you're up and around 100 grams a day, you're doing fine.
Right.
It's also about your body. If you're an incredibly active person, you're going to need more. If
Right.
you aren't a very active person, you may not need as much. So listen to your body. How much energy do you have? How are you sleeping?
Uh-huh.
These are factors that, really do come into play into telling yourself how you're doing. And nutrition plays a
Right.
huge part in that. So, yeah, protein, fiber, hydration, those are kind of the main ones. And then when it comes to supplementation, that is specific to everybody.
Right.
I mean, a multivitamin is never going to hurt. I know everyone says
Right.
it's expensive pee, but if it makes you feel
Right.
better,
Expensive
I
pee, I love it.
mean, yeah, just
Yeah.
go for it. I personally take magnesium every day.
Yeah.
I take it at night. It helps
I do
calm
too.
the
Calm
muscles.
magnesium every
Yeah,
night. That's my
it does. It helps
nighttime
calm the
lineup.
muscles, calm your
Yep.
nervous system. It really helps sort of like
Mhm.
shut everything down. It helps reduce cramping, which if you get cramps at
Mm.
night, is the actual worst.
Right.
So I love taking a magnesium at night. I take calcium because I don't drink milk. My
Okay.
family drinks like a ridiculous amount of milk.
Right.
I don't. I still have dairy products. Like I have
Yeah.
yogurt, I have cottage cheese, I do all that. But I want to make sure, especially in this stage of life, I have osteoporosis and arthritis in my family. So I want to make
Yeah.
sure I'm getting enough calcium. So I
Mm.
take that. I take an omega-3. It's really good for your brain. It's really good for your joints. Um, and yeah. Oh, and through the day, I will have some collagen. I just
Right.
feel like,
I know.
you know,
Working on it, right?
can't hurt.
Feel
Yeah.
like
It's
if I
also
just
really good for
had some
joint health,
tape,
right?
like just some tape
Yeah.
might help.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
But I do take collagen throughout the day. Just I throw it in my coffee.
yeah, I do too.
So
That's what I do with mine.
yeah,
It's in my
and
coffee.
if I forget it, okay. It's
Right.
not like I'm not gonna die, you're gonna be okay if you
Right.
don't have your supplements. If you don't hit your protein one day, you're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Like it's like when parents have really young kids and all they eat, everything is beige
Right.
for an entire day. They're still gonna grow. They're still gonna
Right. They're still
grow.
gonna be
Everything's gonna be fine.
okay. No one
Yeah,
has failed. No one has
exactly.
failed. Can
Exactly.
you tell me,
It's
like, what
yeah.
I struggle with? Like, I look in my fridge and I'm like, what's gonna get me the 30 grams of protein? But
Mhm.
also, you know, am I allowed to have a powder? Is that protein bar? Like, I'm just finding it's great that everyone's telling me to go and eat the protein. And but I don't and I know I'm doing some research and all the things, and most people are just like, eat cottage cheese and you're gonna win at life.
Yeah.
But chicken legs and cottage cheese are
Basically.
apparently what I'm living on. But
Yeah.
it's like,
Mhm.
what does can you share what a breakfast and a lunch and a dinner might look like with what you're suggesting, like from a fiber and protein perspective?
Yeah. And I think also when you instead of just grabbing, and this is where a little bit of preparation comes into
Right.
play, which I know
Meal prep Monday, lady. I get it.
I know. But it doesn't
Kind
have
of
to
who
be
you are.
complicated. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
complicated, I promise. So for me, for breakfast, so different for my kids and I, because I have a little more time in the morning
Yes.
than they do. So I will make little egg cups like those ones you can get at cafes, the coffee shops. Make little egg cups. They have cottage cheese in them. They have eggs in them. So they're really protein packed. If they
Okay.
have those with maybe some whole grain toast or some fruit in the morning, they're good to go. That and a banana, glass of milk, out the door.
Great.
For me, I like something. I am a volume eater. Like, I really like to eat. I want a lot of food. I want food that's, like, bigger than my head, and I wanna feel full, I wanna feel
Yep.
satisfied, but, I don't wanna eat 5,000 calories a day.
Right.
So for the morning, what I do is I load up my plate with some kind of fiber. Usually in my fridge, I'll have like some leftover broccoli, I'll have a cut up roasted squash, or I'll have a whole head of cabbage and I'll just shred up a whole bunch of cabbage. I cook that up with a couple of eggs or egg whites or combo of both. So I've got my fiber, I have protein, and usually that's in and around probably 20 grams of protein right there.
Okay.
2 eggs is 12 grams of protein.
Okay.
But if you add in a few more egg whites with that, you can hit around 20. And then
Okay.
I'll add a half a cup of cottage cheese on top of that.
Mhm.
And that's another 10 to 15. So
Yeah.
that's 30, right?
Cool.
That's my favorite breakfast, and I
Yep.
load it up with hot sauce, and I just love it. That's my
Mhm.
favorite. Something else I'll have is like an oatmeal with some peanut butter, with some yogurt in there. I
Uh-huh.
might scramble up an egg to have on the side. But those are kind of my typical breakfasts. Eggs are my go-to. They
Yeah.
are so good for you. They cook
Yep.
so quickly, and your body, like, egg whites are the closest thing to our protein in our body. So
Oh, no way. I didn't know that.
we absorb a ton of that protein. It's
Oh,
really
cool.
available to us, like bioavailable to us. So that's why I absolutely love eggs. Really easy to digest as well. So, the recommendation, especially if you're going to be active, is not to eat a lot of protein right before because it takes your body a long time to digest. Well, eggs
Right.
are sort of on the opposite end of that, where they
Oh.
digest faster than any other kind of protein. So really, really good in the morning if you have like a busy day and you want to keep going.
And
Um,
can you just on the egg white thing,
mhm.
can you like I started buying the box like at Costco, the like
Oh yeah,
3-pack. Are egg whites in a container just as good?
oh yeah. I use
Okay.
those almost
All the
exclusively.
time. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, because also I hate waste.
Right.
So I will save the yolk if I do use egg whites, and I will
Yeah.
find a recipe to use that yolk in.
Right.
But typically, I'll just use either a whole egg and then
Okay.
add some egg whites to it, or
Okay.
just use like 2/3 of a cup of egg whites, which I
Yeah.
think is like 6 egg whites or something. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's totally it. And the carton of egg
Okay.
whites is perfect
Yeah, the
and
Costco I was
easy.
like I just was so excited when I found them. Because you just
Yeah.
again, start looking for them, they've probably been there the whole time, but until someone told me I needed to eat 3,000 grams of protein in a day, I wasn't looking for egg white containers, and
Yeah.
now I do.
Egg whites are great. Egg whites, cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, always in my fridge
Okay,
because it's just those little extras.
I fucking hate lunch. Like, lunch is where I'm so good at breakfast myself. I'm like you, I like the bowl. I take the really freaking good at breakfast, and I feel
Mhm.
great. And lunch, I like, what do you do for lunch? Because I can't stand lunch. I don't get it right.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I can't seem to nail it.
Part of lunch, I think, really is looking forward to it because if you just open the
Change your mindset,
fridge.
Amy. Got
Yeah,
it.
I know, but I'm gonna tell you how. I'm gonna tell you
Okay.
how.
Okay. Do
So,
it.
'cause when you open the fridge and you're just like, "Ugh, I don't
Mhm.
want leftovers. I don't particularly wanna make something," it
Yeah.
does become hard. So, my favorite lunch is to make myself like a little charcuterie.
Ooh,
So,
now
I
you're
mean,
talking.
yeah, who doesn't want like a plate full of just
Uh-huh.
snacks, right? Like little snacky things. So
Mhm.
I will put together like if I have hummus, I'll put that.
Yeah.
If I have Caesar dressing, whatever, a dip.
Yeah.
Dip goes there. I'll cut up a cucumber, really easy. Or if I have like peppers or carrots or whatever cut up, that goes on the plate. For protein, if I have leftover meat, if I have some cheese,
Mhm.
you can put a handful of nuts. Just simple, simple, simple. You're
Yeah.
really just kind of going around and grabbing little things that make you happy.
Right.
You can have a granola bar. You can put a little bit of cereal. You can put some crackers on there. I've got dried chickpeas in my cupboard. I'd probably throw those in there.
Okay.
And then maybe something a little sweet, like if I have a little muffin, I might finish my lunch with that, have a coffee. You know, it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be this structured lunch of it, like a sandwich and a soup and a salad. It can
Right.
be something that's just going to nourish you. And again, contains protein, contains fiber. You know, if you have avocado, just like scoop it, put some balsamic glaze on there,
Yep.
whatever. Um, just something simple. We've got energy bites in our fridge all the time. I have
Right.
these like 4 ingredient energy bites that my kids make every week because they're easy to grab,
Right.
and we have those. I'll throw a couple of those on the plate. So, it doesn't have to be complicated. You don't have to cook anything. You know,
Right.
you don't have to put anything together, but you can also take a whole wheat tortilla, slather it with peanut butter, put a banana in there, roll it up. You know,
Right.
like, that is lunch too.
Right, right. And it's
Um,
like and I
yeah.
think when you talk charcuterie, I'm like, "That's exciting. Can I have a glass of wine with that?"
Yeah,
Or I can just put my bubbly water in a wine glass because that's available for me at
exactly.
all times.
Mhm.
But even just, we have the luxury of working from home 90% of the time, and so
Yes.
even that seems simple for someone, to take that with them in a box to work, to their desk.
Totally.
Yeah.
And you can do this on a Sunday night. I know
Right.
everyone's like, meal prep," but
Yeah.
honestly, it's probably not that.
Mhm.
You put 4 containers, because I never say make for 5 because you get
Yeah.
bored, right?
Yeah.
So 3 or
Yeah.
4 containers and just, like, get those things out, put a little dip in there, because to me, lunch, because I have such a big breakfast and I love breakfast
Right.
so much,
Yeah, me
lunch to
too.
me is just something to carry me over until dinner. It
Right.
doesn't have to be this big substantial meal,
Right.
and that way, when it's a bunch of little snacks too, you don't feel like I have to sit down and eat this whole thing.
Right. Right.
You know, you can just snack on it all day, and if you do it in advance, you're gonna make good choices, you're gonna hit your
Right.
protein marks, right? And throw a little yogurt container in there for more
Right.
protein, like, there's so many little options if you think about it almost as if you're making a kid lunch,
Right. Yeah.
right?
Right.
And
And just
then
adding the
snack.
chicken leg because you need the protein.
Add the chicken leg on top, and you're good to go.
Right? You're good to
Yeah.
go. Now, what's your feeling on like processed meats? Like if I'm thinking charcuterie, I naturally think of,
Mhm.
cured meats and things like that. What's your take on that? Is that good protein? Is that protein we can add to our snackable lunch?
Absolutely, it is. I wouldn't recommend it every single day.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, it is, a known carcinogen, right?
Right.
So it's not
There's
something
that. Yeah.
but it's not like a piece of ham is the same as smoking cigarettes. It does
Right.
not equate.
Right.
You know, it's it's okay to eat processed meat. I'm gonna say it out loud. Um, do I want you to eat it every single day, all the time, breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Absolutely not.
Mhm.
But yes, it's convenient. It does contain protein. It's delicious.
Yeah.
And a couple of slices rolled up they're not going to kill you.
Right.
That is not what's going to do it.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. Not gonna be
yes,
it.
don't feel bad about it. If it makes
Right.
you feel better to get the one that's made with like the
Turkey
celery.
versus the like, straight up
Yeah.
pepperoni or, like, those kinds of
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
But, I give it to my kids, so if that makes anybody
Yeah.
feel any better, they definitely have, like, the hammer turkey processed
Yeah.
meat sandwiches that I buy from Costco, the meat,
Yep.
and I try and switch it up with, bagels every once in a while or, like, we make like, last night, we made extra grilled chicken so they could have a grilled chicken wrap.
Right.
Um, as long as you're switching it up as best you can.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. It is a quick way to get a little bit more protein for
To
sure.
manage it. And
Yeah.
then you're getting through your day. You've had your incredible
Mhm.
snackable, protein-packed, fiber-packed lunch. Now what are you doing
Yes.
for, like, snack into dinner? Like, what's an afternoon
So,
to dinner look like?
yeah, so for me personally, I love to have a little sweet treat with coffee in the afternoon. It's like something
Okay.
I actually dream of and look forward to.
Oh, nice.
So we're filming a little early now, but
Yeah.
I will make myself a coffee and I usually have like chocolate chip banana muffins or some kind
I
of like quick bread. Or I'll make myself a little yogurt peanut butter concoction or something. I just like to have something sweet in the afternoon. Um, but I also enjoy like having a little bit of fruit, like a fruit and yogurt, or I actually have made, I make this delicious, if I do say so myself, um,
You're
high
allowed.
protein, cookie dough dip. It's made with
Oh,
chickpeas. Um, it's so good. It tastes like cookie dough, and then you can dip apples in it and graham crackers and
great.
whatever you want. So, things like that are really excellent to make it
Okay.
through. And I do, like I said, love to have, like, a veggie tray out when my kids walk through the door because if veggies and dip are out there, cut up, ready
They
for
get
them, they're gonna eat it, and then if they
yeah,
don't have as many vegetables at dinner, that's okay because they've
right.
already had some. So, I'd like to do that, and it's good for me as well if you're, like, want something to nibble on while you're
Yeah,
making dinner.
yeah,
Just having, like, a veggie tray out is a really good idea to up the fiber and up the color and all of that stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. And then
And then
dinner
dinner.
dinner is a whole whole 'nother thing. So, um, dinner is like that what's for dinner question is,
Yep.
I know it is, like, really hard for a lot of people.
Uh-huh.
Um, one thing that I do in my house, we have a little whiteboard in the kitchen. The kids love when I do this. I just write out like, I look at our calendar and write out
Yep.
what's for dinner every night. I can
Cool.
change it,
Right.
like,
Yeah, that's why it's
you know
erasable. Yeah.
yeah,
You're in
but
charge.
yeah, but the reason I like it is because I can it reminds me to take something out of the freezer,
Right?
which I have to do,
Yep.
because I forgot this
You
morning.
know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it reminds you what to take out for dinner, and then it's one less decision you have to make that day,
I like that.
and I don't know about you, but for me, going through perimenopause, the fogginess is real, the decision fatigue is real, and I get to a certain point in the day where I'm like, "Please don't ask me to make any more decisions," including, "Do you think I should curl my hair tomorrow or straighten my hair?" I don't know.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Like, I can't I honestly
And I
I
don't
just get
fucking
to a point where
care.
I can't.
Yep.
So, having just even like tonight, ground turkey. That's all I
Right.
wrote. It doesn't have to be,
Right.
"Oh, I'm making burgers, I'm making whatever." All I know is I'm gonna make something with ground turkey, which
Right.
usually means it could be a pasta, whatever, but I know I'm gonna cook a ground turkey, so I can
Yeah.
take it out of the freezer and then it's done. And I typically say, "Know what you're gonna make for dinner by noon." Even if
Mhm.
that is takeout, even if that
Right.
is the leftovers in the fridge, just
Right.
know what you're gonna
Yeah.
do by noon because then that decision is done and made and you don't have to worry
I
about
love
it
that.
anymore. And, like, there's nothing wrong with going through family favorites on rotation. You
Yeah,
don't
I
have to
do.
reinvent the wheel
Yeah.
every night.
Right. And I think also what I also love, a big part of what I've tried to do in our life and that decision fatigue is real and people asking questions is like, if you have a whiteboard or it's on a piece of paper, if you don't want to have a whiteboard or you've made that decision or the group, we always group text. I mean,
Mm,
what's happening? Because then you eliminate even that question, what's for dinner?
yes.
Because sometimes, I mean, my poor children, again, because I don't do it very often. So when their dad goes to work, he's a firefighter. So on the nights that Eric's not here, often we have sushi because Eric
Right.
doesn't enjoy sushi. So the kids know that I might be convinced that takeout is a
Right.
good option because it's also not part of my day. Like I'm
Yes.
really blessed that Eric takes care of that, but it's not a decision or a thing I need to think about. So if I'm busy working or doing my thing, I don't think about what's for dinner. So this is helpful because I need to be better at when Eric goes to work, what is it we're eating? But my kids, poor Jack, I was at the computer and Jack came upstairs behind me and he was like, "So what's for dinner?" I was like, "I don't fucking know. What are you planning for dinner?" And he was like,
Yeah.
"Whoa." And he like backed down the stairs and I sent
Yeah.
the group text. I was like, "Why don't you guys figure out what for dinner?" And so sure enough, they got in the car because now I have a kid who's old enough to drive. It was like, so they went and I didn't tell them what. I didn't make the decision for them, and it was
Mhm.
really funny because they came home and they got one of those rotisserie chickens and they, got a few things and all of a sudden we had dinner and I was like,
Amazing.
this is I live with adults, children, or they're children always
Mhm.
to me, but they're adults and so out of my snap fest, and it was funny because then poor Jack, he was like, "Well, I would have gotten sushi." I said, "Well, you could have because I didn't
Yeah.
actually tell you what you could and couldn't get." But I actually
Yeah.
was so impressed that these kids went and found like the boys because they're surrounded by healthy eating, but they actually went and got like the rotisserie chicken. And then I didn't
That's
have to think about it.
amazing.
It was pretty
I
awesome. But
love
the
it.
poor things, I like snapped at them. I was like, "Oh, fucking no."
Yeah, I
Parenting
know.
moment, great. I'm so awesome, but not at
It's
all.
real
But I got
though.
dinner. But I got dinner because it's
Yeah.
real. Like at 6 o'clock at night, you're like, I don't care
Yeah. Yeah.
anymore.
Um, it's funny because throughout the pandemic, part of my mission, because I knew we were gonna be home every night, was
Yeah.
to really take that time to teach my kids to cook
Right.
things. And they've always been good in the
Yeah.
kitchen. Like they're very comfortable. They're not afraid
Yeah.
to cook and they know how to like use all the appliances and
Yep.
whatever. But they expressed interest in I want to learn how to cook this. And so
Yeah.
now my oldest knows how to make eggs Benedict from
Oh,
scratch.
so
And let
good.
me tell you,
Mm,
teach your kids how to make eggs Benedict from scratch because then
agreed.
on a random Sunday morning or some night when I don't feel like cooking, I'm like, ooh, could really
Mm,
use some eggs Benedict. And then he's like, I'm on it. And it's
so good. It's so
so
funny you say that, eggs
mm,
Benedict. Jack literally, both my boys know the basics as well, and Spencer was at college, so he's taking care of himself already. But now they're back at the all-inclusive resort, and so their day
right.
dinners are available for them. But Jack literally sent the group chat a note yesterday morning. He's like, "I'm making eggs Benedict. Anybody want anything?" I was like, "Yes, but
Yes.
but I already ate." It's like it's
Ah,
so sad, but everybody else had an amazing breakfast. But it's so funny you say that. But it's
yeah.
so nice, and especially as a mom of boys, I mean, I was blessed that Eric chose to cook on his own because that was the part-time he didn't wanna work front of house. He doesn't like people that much, and so he didn't wanna work front of house at a restaurant, and so him and his buddy got a gig in the kitchen, and so I love that, our boys are learning so that they also are a part, whether it's 50-50 in the homes that they end up living in or even as roommates or fire
Mhm.
halls or wherever they end up, that they know how to cook and it's normal to them, and so I would say it's
Yes.
pretty similar in your house because 'cause you've got 2 boys as well.
Totally. Absolutely. Yeah. 2 boys and my daughter as well, like, they all
Mhm.
contribute, which is really nice. My husband does cook, he absolutely can,
Yeah.
which is nice, but I do
Yeah.
the majority of the cooking,
I like it.
but even on the board, if I know I'm gonna be out,
Yeah.
I will put in like, he's excellent at breakfast for dinner, so we'll
Right.
do breakfast for
Oh, I
dinner
love
that
that.
night.
Yeah.
Yeah, or, if it's not winter, he'll do stuff on the barbecue, whatever.
Nice.
And he I don't have to, lay it out for him, which is really
Right.
nice. But yeah, if it's still on there.
Right.
And it's great. It honestly is great if you can get your kids in the kitchen. It
Yeah.
does help. Like I know it's messy and
Yeah.
everything takes twice as long when they're younger, but if you do it,
Yes.
it does come back to you later on in life. It
It
really
does.
does. It does.
Yeah.
And it comes back when it matters because right now there are some times when I'm just like I'm so
Yeah.
done. Or I've
Done.
been cooking all day for my
Yeah.
job. I'm
For
like, the
sure.
last thing I wanna do is
Yeah.
cook dinner. I just
Totally.
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in this menopausal world that we live in, you've been so helpful to, give us some incredible tips, and all the recipes that you've spoken about, we're gonna link, and also,
Mhm.
um, on the side of the fact of the Down There Affair event, you are one of our in-house, recipe nutritionist gals who's gonna help keep us fueled while we're training to walk our 7K or 12K and lift those weights and things like that, so this won't be the only time that our audience, experiences you, so we'll make your recipes are going to be on available to all, and we'll link some of them. But just what can we in your in all of your wisdom and the things that you're doing, both from an educational point of view and also who you are as a human, like what are your best tips for us? Like for those who are in perimenopause managing all of this, what would you say to them?
I'd say go easy on yourself,
Mhm.
you know? Um, we are bombarded with what we should be doing, especially when it comes to what we eat, what we put in our bodies, what we do with our bodies, and, you and I have talked about this where it's like, eat more protein and eat more fiber and make sure you're hydrated and don't do cardio, but get 10,000 steps a day
Right.
and lift really heavy, but not too much to up your cortisol. And
Right.
don't take all the supplements, just take what you need, but definitely take the supplements. And it can get really confusing and it can get to be a lot. And
Yeah. Right.
so I would say go easy on yourself. Do one thing at a time if you feel you need a change,
Right.
only if you feel you need a change. Make one change at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself and keep it easy. And, I still have days where I want to eat chocolate cake and drink wine and do all the things,
Yeah.
and that's fine. I'm going to have days where I don't, there is no perfect
Right.
day because we're
Right.
all different and everything we do is going to be different. And that's okay. But, just do what makes you feel good.
Right.
And if
I love
you
that.
don't feel good, reach out to somebody, talk to somebody about what you could possibly change
Yeah.
and then go from there. But yeah, I would definitely say go easy on yourself because for me, the changes for me mostly are some physical, but a lot cognitive. And that's a really hard one because, you know, I want to do everything I can to keep my brain healthy and
Right.
active
Yeah.
and it's tough. Like sometimes you just don't have all the answers and you just need to do what's best for you.
Yeah. Just follow your
Mm.
gut, as they always say, right? Put the good stuff
It's
in it and
very
listen to it
true.
'cause it's the
Yeah.
real thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, I always it's take every like, I'm a big fan of and I've been on quite a journey, as our listeners are learning, and personally a little bit more, is just in terms of, like, I wanna feel good, and at the end of the day, like, I don't wanna invest the next 25 years of my life feeling like shit.
Mhm.
Um, because that's essentially what we were set up for until these moments in life right now, like what our moms went through and their moms and, from a perimenopause to a menopause thing. And I've just found I'm listening to all of it and then I'm deciding what is right for me. And
Mhm.
I'm trying it all and some is sticking and I've probably just given my health journey, I've probably gone, I don't know, to the extreme, but I'm, paying different kinds of doctors. I'm taking different kind of supplements. I've done different kinds of tests, but I want to just feel good. And so
Yeah.
sometimes I want the good stuff and sometimes I want French fries and,
Yeah.
everything. And one of the things that I've always appreciated about you, because I value your experience as a nutritionist. What I've always valued and appreciated with you is that you are all about, moderation. And,
Mm.
becoming really good friends with the nutritionist. You're like, fuck, I'm never gonna be able to have a glass of wine. Am I gonna be able to have like a French fry? Because like you become conscientious of like, right? Like, I'm like, I want to learn from you. I want to be healthier and better. And what I've always appreciated about you is that it's all in moderation and
Yeah.
do what's right for you.
Absolutely. And some people, I don't necessarily recommend intermittent fasting or
Right.
cutting, gluten out of your diet. But if it makes you feel good, if it
Right.
works for you, if it's something sustainable as
Right.
well, right? Because doing lots of things for like temporarily
Yeah.
isn't going to get you anywhere. But if you can find something that works for you long term and it makes you feel so good,
Yeah.
do it. Do
Right.
it because like you are the only person that matters, right? Like
Yeah.
you have to be healthy. You have to make sure that you're at the top of your game so you can be there for everybody else
Right.
that matters to you.
And I love it too, just because I think like when we try to do it all and then then they're like, we're already trying to manage our brains and our decisions in this stage of life. And then the last thing you want to do is kick yourself because you didn't take your creatine that day. Like you've
Oh,
shared that
I
a
know.
couple times throughout where it's like, for me, it was, oh shit, I gotta fucking do it all. And then I was like, actually, how about I just start with collagen in my coffee? And then I
Yeah.
nailed that. Then I was like, yes. And then it was like,
Yeah.
okay, take my magnesium every night before I go to bed because that feels good. I like, great. So I nailed that. And so I have
Hmm.
truly, well, my lineup is probably significant now in terms of like what I take, but I've reflecting back, I've done it because I want it sustainable is that ultimate word, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't I don't beat myself up at it if I forget it, but I also really enjoy doing things for myself that feel good and
Yeah.
being able to do those things and understand they're having an impact is also really nice. But it's, it's the, atomic habits build on it, right? You don't have to do it all at the same time. James Clear has something going
Absolutely.
on. So
He knows what he's talking
yeah,
about.
he
Yeah.
does. He totally does.
Yeah. And
As
then,
do you.
once oh, thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's a great way to do it too, because you do one thing and then
Yeah.
you get really good at it. And then you can either pair something with that,
Yeah.
right? Or just start something new over here. And like I always say to people, you have to do what works for you.
Yeah.
Do what works for you, do what makes you feel good, and it all gets easy from there.
Yeah. It does. It
Mhm.
totally does. Well, Seanna, thank you for bringing us back to the basics and sharing all the tips and tricks. And
My
like I said,
pleasure.
I'm so excited that as our audience grows, you are one of our go-tos. And if someone wants to reach out to you and start to follow you, and I mean, I'm going to tag it all, but how does someone do that? And are you open to it? And all those good things. So how do we find you?
No, not open to it at
Yeah.
all. No, just kidding. Definitely, people can find me most of the time I'm on Instagram.
Yeah.
So, my handle is Seanna Thomas Nutrition, all one
Mhm.
word, and you'll see the weird spelling.
Yeah.
I'm sure Amy
Not
will
Sienna.
post that.
It's Shauna.
Not Sienna, Shauna. So
All
Shauna Thomas
those
Nutrition.
Starbucks cups that you've
Oh, I
had.
know. Yeah, exactly, exactly. But I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm slowly growing on YouTube,
Yeah.
so on there as well. And people can email me. My
Right.
website, shaunathomas.com. Try and keep it simple. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll put it all there and start to you know, start watching you on Meal Start Mondays because all of this will become your whiteboard will get filled because your Shauna is going to give you
Yes.
all the tips. So thank you
Exactly.
so much
Exactly.
for being here. I appreciate it. And thanks so much.
Thanks, Amy. I'm so happy to be here. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks for getting loud with us today on the Down There Where podcast. If this conversation resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe so you never, ever miss an episode. And leave us a review. It would help us reach more women who've been told to suffer in silence. And here's the thing, awareness isn't enough. We need action, we need funding, we need change. That's where the Down There Affair comes in. We're a global peer-to-peer fundraising movement putting menstrual health center stage, from menstruation to menopause and everything in between. Diseases affecting men receive twice the funding of those affecting women. Only 11% of research dollars go to women's health. We're here to change that. Visit downtherewhere.org to register for our next walk, start fundraising, or join the movement. We can't do this alone. Oh, and follow us on social at the Down There Affair, because this conversation doesn't stop when the episode ends. Whether you're dealing with your own health journey, supporting someone who is, or ready to demand the care we all deserve, you're in the right place. Getting uncomfortable is where change happens, and we're never going back. I'm Amy Milne. Stay loud.
Oh, that was binge worthy.